So in this review, we are going to talk about the Eotech XPS2. And I purchased this with my own funds. The reason I got this is because I also have an Aimpoint and I have a Trijicon ACOG. So I wanted to get this. Number one, I like Eotechs, and number two, I wanted to kind of have one model of each of the big three. I consider those the big three as far as duty optics are concerned. They're not super expensive. I mean, the Trijicon ACOG is getting into a little bit expensive territory, but for the most part, I consider it mid-range, and they've already been proven. They've been proven out in the field, in the war zone, and on the streets to be very efficient, well-made optics. They're reliable. Eotech has had some shady stuff in the past as far as their Model 512s. I remember that back in the military, there were some issues with thermal drift and stuff like that with the older Eotech models. But I think they got that ironed out. They especially got it ironed out with these new XPS2 models. So just to go over this model, here it is right here. It's definitely a shorter footprint than the older 512s. And that's because the battery is a different type of battery, and it's inserted this way versus long ways right here. The older 512s, you're going to see a nice big compartment right here for the batteries, and they went ahead and took care of that with this model, which I think is great. This is a basic XPS2. There are some models that have the side controls versus the rear controls, and there's some different coatings on them, and you can really get fancy, but this is kind of a base model because that's just what I need. It does have your windage and elevation on the side here. Standard Eotech design, very clear glass. Your controls are on the back here, so you just push to on, and we'll see if I can get that in camera here. So let me see if I can get the camera to focus correctly, and I may be able to get it to focus, maybe not, just because of it's not going to want to focus on the reticle too much. But if you look online, it's just a basic 65 MOA reticle with a dot in the center, and it has a hash mark on the top, bottom, left, and right. The bottom hash mark with the 65 MOA circle, that represents your point of aim at 7 yards when you have this properly sighted in. I think that's kind of a cool deal. Why do I think that's kind of a cool deal? I think it's really applicable in law enforcement. Sometimes rifles are used at a very close range, and if you use them close enough, there is a barrel offset from your sight. And by using that bottom point, that takes care of that offset. So I think that's kind of a cool thing from Eotech. This doesn't have a BDC. Some Eotech sights do have BDCs, but it does have good adjustment range, so I can go really bright, or I can take it down super dim. And then there's also some, let me go as deep as I can here. There you go. You can still barely see it on the deal there. But you can also get Eotechs out there that have night vision settings and whatnot. This one is a pretty basic setting, and to turn it off, all I have to do is press both, and it turns off. So this is a holographic sight. What that means is, basically, without getting too technical, this isn't like a standard red dot out there that you see on Amazon that has just a single point that projects onto the lens. The lens has a coating, it shines back the dot, and there you go. These Eotechs, you could literally shoot out the center of this, knock out the center where there'll be no glass front or back. It's just a hole, and the dot will still show. That's kind of a neat thing with holographic sight, and that's why it's commanding a price point of right around 500 bucks. Again, the older Eotechs, the 512s, I think you get them cheaper, especially if you find them new. And I may get one. I have to see. I have to see which model 512s are good, because there are some that had that thermal drift issue and whatnot. So I think the newer manufacturer of the Model 512s are okay. But as far as I know, there's no issues with the XPS2. So here's the sight. It does have a lanyard retention for the battery cap, which I think is kind of cool. The mounting on this, just a standard mounting. Some of them come with quick release mounting, which I think is kind of cool, but I didn't really need that. What I'll do is I'll open up the box here so you can see what comes with it. So you have your adjustment tool to mount it, and then you have this, your quick reference card for the XPS2. I think that's kind of cool. It's laminated, and it also has your product manual right here. So if you have a phone, you could just scan this code using your camera, and then it'll take you right to the product manual online. And this gives you some zeroing procedure and all that good stuff. I really like that. It talks about just the controls, battery replacement, all that good stuff, adjusting your reticle, and then just mounting on the rifle, and then just your controls. So this does have a 4-hour auto shutoff to an 8-hour auto shutoff, and that's just kind of it just depends on how you have your sight set up here. So you can see right here on this warranty card, see if I can get the camera to focus on that. There you go. You have your 4-hour auto shut off, decreased brightness, and then 8-hour auto shut off, increased brightness. It just depends on the specific what you got set up for this. So in any case, comes with the sticker. That's the coolest thing, right? You're always paying for the sticker and you get a free sight, right? And then your product warranty information, of course, right here, and how to register your product. So that way, in case it goes bad, you can get your warranty done on it. So cool sight. I like the Eotechs. I like these XPS2 models. I'm not going to bore you with stuff like weight and all that stuff because I don't know. I've talked about it before on my channel. It seems kind of dry when you go over the weight, especially when you could just go right to the site. Anybody watching this video could just type in Eotech and get it right from the site itself, from Eotech itself. And I kind of prefer that a little bit on my reviews as of late. If you want me to be more technical, I guess I can. Just let me know. But it seems a little bit dry whenever I start going into the super technical stuff. What I like is, what I want to talk about is just the construction. Good to go. Very intuitive. Windage and adjustments right here. And the battery cap is nice and tight. These are recessed nice, so you don't have to worry about knocking this and kind of messing with your zero. Buttons right here are easy to operate, good to go. This does not have the night vision function like some of them do, so this is a basic model. Clarity of the lens is good. The guards, very well done, very robust sight. The mount is good. The quality of the mount bolt is good. Sometimes that is skimped over, but that is good to go. Just the overall design, the feel on the rifle, this isn't the lightest optic out there. I would put aim point, some of their models, like I have the ACO, and that feels a little bit lighter, just by a little bit when I compare the two, but that's all right. It's still well balanced. I have no issues with it on a rifle. So if you're thinking about Eotechs, check out the XPS2. You don't have to spend a whole lot. Some of them I think are running around 700, 800 bucks depending on what you're getting. So you don't have to get that model. This one's sitting at right around 500, maybe just a little bit less. Just stick with that model right there. It gets you what you need and you'll be good to go.